again this year, and yet any concern about trying to make it through another season?
No concern at all. I mean, we really prepared this offseason with just a lot of weight training. Coach Pitt has put us through probably one of the hardest summers I've ever had in my life, and I feel like I'm really prepared coming into this fall camp. I feel really good, feel strong, my knee feels good, and I'm just excited for the season.
What did you learn playing last year?
I kind of learned some of the things where, you know, during big game time situations, I need to be able to stay consistent, kind of like with the fumbling thing and ball security. You know, when the team needs me to be counted on, just being able to step up and make those plays for the team.
We talked to you before about hype and dealing with hype, and I know that you've done it before, but this season it kind of seems like it's gone to another level. How do you prepare for it?
I don't really try to stress myself too much on the hype. I'm just excited for this to play another season. Just really working to get our goal of winning a Mountain West championship. That's really the biggest deal in my mind, is just trying to make sure that I prepare myself and the team prepares ourselves to have a great season this year.
Yesterday, Shane said that he thinks that you're the key to the offense. What do you think about that?
That's funny. Shoot, Shane is the key to this offense too. to keep it really honest, Shane is an important cog in this offense. I mean, if he's out there catching those bubble screens and just catching those routes and making people miss, it makes it a lot easier for me, because then they have to worry about him and they spread it all the way out and the box opens up and I get to make plays and then he gets to make more plays. So it's awesome.
You're talking in that Sports Illustrated story about after your sophomore year of high school, you were thinking about going back to England. How serious were you actually considering that?
It was actually a thing that me and my dad took really into big consideration. Just sat down, he talked to me a little bit, and you know, it was just a thing where I felt really comfortable being in America. I made a lot of friends. I kind of built a new life here, and so I really wasn't ready to make a huge life change in going back. And I just felt that playing football, you know, would end up being the right path for me, and it's been good so far.
I know the Nigerian national team was maybe at least talked about. Do you think that you would have actually had a chance to compete for that team?
Definitely. I mean, my dad, you know, at the time he was a FIFA agent, so he knew a lot of guys on the Nigerian national team. Also, one of my coaches in my club team, he was an actual under 19 or 18 national team coach, and he had told me that if I really was serious about trying out, that I should talk to him. So I had some opportunities.
When you came here and everything happened to you, like it did, and you tore your ACL and stuff, did you ever think you made the wrong choice?
No, I didn't. You know, I didn't have any regrets. I love being in America. I love the fact that I'm playing football. It's my favorite sport, even though soccer's right up there with it. But I had no regrets at all, and I knew that this is where God wanted me to be, and that He had a plan for me, and so I wasn't really too worried about it.
What is your citizenship?
I'm a British citizen.
Okay, so you're born over there?
Yeah, I was born in England.
Are your parents or your dad from Africa? Or?
My dad was born in Nigeria. My mom was also born in England,
okay,
but she's Nigerian as well.
And what brought you guys over here?
My dad's job.
Okay.
He was doing IT. He was doing IT at the time.
Okay. And everybody's still in Texas, or what's?
So now my immediate family, my brothers and sisters, my mom and dad, they live in Texas. I still have family in England, have some family in Canada, and a lot of family in Nigeria. So I'm a little bit of everywhere. Ajayi's
you got lots of people.
Ajayi's all over the world. Yeah.
Jay, how much thought have you given to the NFL? And I know you're eligible to go after next season. How much thought have you given to that?
I haven't really tried to stress myself too much about that. You know, it is to be able to do that would be a major step for me, and I'm not really too worried about it right now. My main focus is just having a great fall camp, just preparing myself, like I said, to have a great season this year. And then when it gets to that point, then I'll really sit down with my parents, sit down with my coaches, and then we'll take it from there.
Did you think about it after last year at all?
No, I didn't.
You've been using that money season on Twitter. That's got people all upset that you're leaving. What's that mean to you?
Money season is kind of the new motto that I've taken. I wouldn't specifically set it on just this season. It's really just about, you know, living in the season of trying to make money, whereas when you're on the field, Coach Bonifa, back when he was here, he used to always say, don't leave money out on the field. So when I say money season, it's not necessarily just this season. It's really just my mindset and motto every time I step out on the field, that each play I'm trying to make money for myself, for my team, and for my family.
Where do you need to get better? Where can you find another 100 yards or something out there?
Really, with me and Coach Rid, we've just been working on a lot of second level cuts. Trying to break those 7-yard gains into like 15 to 20 plus. And so we've really been working on that. We've also been working on pass protection just because that was kind of a thing that I needed to work on after last season. So we've really been working on pass protection, and I feel like I've really improved.
Knowing how much this team, this program, the fans, everybody are counting on you this year, how, is that in your head? Do you realize, know that a little bit? How do you approach, knowing that?
I mean, it looks like it could be a lot of pressure, but I like to believe that I'm a level-headed guy, and I don't let it get to me. And that each time I step out on the field, it's just another game that I can just have an opportunity to showcase my talents.
What do you think separates the good backs from the great backs?
For me, I would say I feel like determination. I feel like the effort on the field. I also believe that your preparation as well. But I really feel like just how much do you want it? When you got one guy that's on you, can you make that guy, can you break the tackle and get those extra yards? Who fights for those extra yards? I feel like that's really what you see in great backs. I mean, you look at the Georgia back, the Oregon backs, and then the South Carolina guy and Wisconsin guy. A lot of them are just breaking tackles and making people miss and making big plays for their teams.
When you think about growing up in England and stuff, and now here we are even asking you, bringing up the NFL, to see where you've come to this point in your life. How do you look at the journey so far?
It's an exciting journey. I'm really more excited to see what the future holds for sure. But just looking back at what I've been through, what I've gone through, and to see where I am now, I feel really blessed. I feel like God has blessed me, and like I said, I'm really excited to see what the future holds with this season.
Have you looked into any of those insurance policies that a lot of juniors take out? If so, is that something maybe you would consider in the future?
No, I haven't looked into it. I mean, all I see is it in the news when I see like the other guys taking up those policies, but I haven't really done my research on none of that.
I know you said you had a passion, obviously, for soccer, but when did you truly embrace football, and what was it about the sport that made you love it?
When did I feel like it probably happened my first day with actually playing football, because it wasn't expected at all. I'd gone to a practice with one of my classmates, and they had mistaken me for one of their team players, and they called me over, and like basically they asked us to run around a tree, and I beat everybody, and so they were like, let's see what he can do with the football. And then I grabbed the football, and I was running ever since, and I played running back ever since. And I feel like at that young age, just not ever playing it, no one in my family ever playing it, and being good at it, it made me really love the game, and starting to watch like the good backs back in the 90s with like Marshall Faulk and Emmitt Smith and stuff, and just watching how they ran the football with so much passion, how hard they ran, and I just really began to love the game even more.
What's your family think about you choosing football over soccer?
They love it. I mean, my mom, she became a huge football fan. It's crazy because we're all Cowboys fans in the house, and she's an Eagles fan. So whenever the Cowboys and Eagles play, she's always rooting against it, and she loves the game now. My little brothers are playing. My second oldest brother, he's about to be a senior, and so he's starting to try to get college scholarships and stuff like that. So my whole family's into football now. We love it, and we're really happy with what I'm doing.
How many brothers you got?
I have two younger brothers and 2 younger sisters.
When was it you started playing?
I started playing in the fourth or fifth grade, so I don't know.
And how old were you when you moved here?
I moved here in 2000, so I'm 21 now. That's a lot of math.
8, something like that.
7 or 8. Yeah, just around there.
Is this home for you now, the
Yeah,
US? Or,
definitely. Funny enough, I haven't even been back to England since me and my parents have been working on trying to be able to go back and see it, because they've been back a couple of times. But this is definitely home for me. I love Texas. I love America.
And then going back to that SI story, you also, I guess, had told them that you had a conversation with Pete when you got in trouble about maybe not even being in the program anymore and having to redshirt. Can you tell us kind of what happened there?
Yeah, basically it was I had made a mistake. You know, I messed up, and there were some consequences. It was a really close decision with Coach Pete. From what he told me, that I was almost out of the program, and so basically he told me, he sat me down, talked to my parents, and basically they just said that, you know, he'd give me one more chance, and that, you know, I had a really thin rope, and that I just needed to win everyone's trust back. And I was just grateful, you know, immensely grateful for the opportunity to still be here, because, you know, that would have really been a tough situation if I would have got kicked out of the
And you
program.
had to redshirt. That was part of the deal.
Yeah, that was part of the deal. I was gonna have to redshirt, and then like a week later or so, I tore my ACL.
How has that changed you, knowing that you had that thin rope and that you had to win back trust? How did that change you going forward?
I matured fast. You know, when I made that mistake, you know, I was really immature, still doing dumb stuff, and just having such a big thing like that to happen, it really shook up my world and really made me like sit back and say, like, you got to really smarten up, you got to mature up, because, you know, you have an opportunity that a lot of people don't. And you know, I talked with my parents, and they told me the same thing as well. They said, you need to make sure that you take advantage of the opportunity that you've been given. And so I just feel like now, looking back at it, I've really wisened up. I've really learned from that decision, and I feel like I'm moving forward really good.
To tear up your knee a week later, I mean, to go through all of that in a